The Latin letter Z doesn't even appear in Russia's Cyrillic alphabet. But since the start of the war in Ukraine, it's gone from being a mysterious marking on Russian military vehicles to becoming a recognizable pro-war symbol used to express support of President Putin and the Russian military. What's more, the Russian government has begun merging this new symbol with the orange and black stripes of a centuries-old ribbon, a ribbon that has been loaded with military meaning throughout Russian history. So where are these symbols coming from, and how is the Kremlin using them to drum up support for the war? Let's start with the Z. If you look at Russian signage or social media, you'll see it all over the place these days. For example, this Z post from the Russian military's Instagram account appears alongside the Russian word for heroes, with a Z added to the end. Other photos appear to show Russian soldiers flashing the Z with their hands. When President Putin spoke at a rally in March, Z was featured in signs around him that read, "For Russia," and "For a world without Nazism." We'll come back to that Nazism theme in a bit. There are a lot of theories about what the Z means and where it came from. But my colleague Matthew Luxmore, who's studied the use of Russian symbols, says it's very likely that it was just an easy-to-write marking, like a V or an O. Russia used it to identify some of its military equipment, and then it spread.
It does seem like it was kind of bottom up and people started to write Zs on their cars because they wanted to express their support for this campaign. And then very quickly it was seized on by the government.
Now that Z has become a thing, you may notice it written with stripes, like this. And that is not some organic thing. Matthew says that is very intentional.
This really, really works. It resonates people understand it, people have pride in this.
Why are those stripes significant? You have to go back a few centuries to find out. It turns out those stripes go back to the 1700s, at a time when Russia was expanding its empire and seizing parts of what's now modern-day Ukraine. In 1769, Catherine the Great established Russia's highest military honor, the Order of St. George.
The really interesting thing about the order, in addition to its exclusivity, is the ribbon. It's actually a point of some contention among scholars where the ribbon comes from, but it's also the most recognized ribbon, and today used for lots of different, co-opted for lots of different reasons.
History professor Russell Martin says that over time, Russians have used the ribbon of St. George to rally around various military achievements. Most prominently, it's become a symbol of the Soviet victory over the Nazis in World War II, something Russia celebrates with a huge Victory Day parade every May. In recent years, the ribbon has also been used to express support for the 2014 annexation of Crimea from Ukraine and Russia's military intervention in the Donbas region.
For some, it's going to have a general patriotic purpose, but for most, and since 2014 especially, it really does have to do with Russia's military greatness. It has association in the past with expansion.
And that's where the ribbon of St. George and the Z come together. Over the years, President Putin and his supporters have seized on this idea that Russia continues to fight Nazism, fascism, and threats from the West. And now, Putin is using this same idea to justify the bloody invasion of Ukraine that's playing out today.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
They're being ruled, as Putin puts it, by Nazis, neo-Nazis, and fascists. We need to save them from the neo-Nazis. They just don't realize it themselves.
There's no evidence that Ukraine's government is run by neo-Nazis, and Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, is Jewish. But as these Russian social media posts show, the Kremlin is clearly merging the new symbol Z with the powerful symbolism of the ribbon of St. George to try to tap into this World War II narrative that Russia must continue to defeat Nazism, that Russia is for victory.
Those two things are being put together to kind of conflate both support for the armed forces and this deep-rooted idea that somehow Russia is waging the same campaign it waged then.
Defending itself rather than invading another country.
Yeah, it's always said it's defending itself, as hard that is to, I guess, believe based on the evidence.
Of course, not everyone buys this argument, and some have likened Russia's Z to the Nazi swastika. For example, Ukraine's defense minister posted this photo on Twitter, showing a swastika-like symbol formed by two Zs. And other comparisons of the Z and the swastika have been photographed around the world in recent weeks. Now that the Z has been embraced by the Russian government, Ukraine's foreign minister is calling on all states to criminalize the use of Z as a way to publicly support the war. Speaking of symbols, the javelin has become a symbol of the Ukrainian resistance. Check out this video to learn more about what it is and how it's being used on the battlefield. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. I'll see you next time.